In the last video, we focused on writing this network call to get profiles dictionary and, building our dictionary. And we left off, successfully getting that dictionary. In this video, we're going to connect everything and build the UI, get some mock users in there and get everything up and running. So for that, let's actually close some of these folders here, minimize all this stuff. Profile view, location detail view, cool. Location list view. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is actually create a folder for this one. So screens, right click, new group, call this location list view, hit return, take our location list view, drag it in there. And I'm going to do something else because our cells folder here, we don't have any other cells. We're not reusing this cell anywhere else. I think it makes more sense to go in here in the location list view folder. So now I can delete the cells folder. Again, project organization, completely subjective. If you don't want to do that, don't do that. But now that I have my location list view folder, do right click, new file, and we're going to do Swift file because we're going to create our view model. Location list view model, hit create. And this should be reviewed for you by now. Final class location list view model. It is an observable object. Okay, the first thing I want to do, well, I'm going to drag this up to the top. Again, my weirdness, I like my view model to be up top. And normally when I'm refactoring like this, I'll put the screens like side by side. If you hit option, click on that, side by side. This just doesn't work that great for my large blown up filming setup. But I guess it might work for here. So this is how I normally refactor. I get them side by side so I can see them. So this CloudKit manager function, I want to cut, and we'll actually create a function here in the view model called func get checked in profiles dictionary. And I will paste that in there. And then here in the onAppear on our location list view, I would call view model dot, whatever, but I don't have a view model yet. So we'll do that here in the location list view. I'll do it below the environment object at state object private var view model. Okay, you get the point. I'm going to get rid of these side by side. It drives me nuts on this big blown up screen. And that equals location list view model, initialize the new one. So now that I have the view model, do Command B to make sure everything's good. In the onAppear, I can do view model.get checked in profiles dictionary. Did I spell everything right? I did. Okay. And then that's going to be a one-liner for me. Okay, back to the view model. This is where the magic happens, right? We have our function, clean up the spacing down here. Our function that gets our profiles dictionary. Here you can see we have the dictionary here. Well, we're just printing it right now, but this is where we will want to update a dictionary to trigger a UI update and update all of our cells to represent the latest version of all the checked in profiles. So just like, when we had an array, same thing with our dictionary. So at published var checked in profiles, and that is of type, CK record. I don't have CloudKit. Okay, cool. CK record. .id is our key, remember? And then what is our value? That is our array of DDG profile. And again, we're going to initialize that with an empty array because we have to initialize it with something. So now what I want to do in the success case, instead of just printing it out, I want to do self dot checked in profiles equals checked in profiles, and make sure we do the local one because the local one is this. Remember, they're named the same. If you want, you can name them something different, but I've seen best practices, they keep the same names, even though it's a little confusing. I would like to hear the rationale for that in the best practices, because anyway, get off my rant here. Because this is now going to be a UI update, because when we get back our dictionary, we're updating our published checked in profiles dictionary, which triggers that UI update. So that needs to go dispatch queue.main.async, and we'll bring the whole switch statement up here, clean up that spacing. Okay, so now that we have our information, if we go to our location list view, this view model will update the dictionary, but we need to update our UI. Right now, our location cell only takes in a location, but we're also going to need to pass in an array of profiles to show all the avatars. So our location cell is going to need some updating here. So let's go to our location cell. So instead of just passing in a location, our location cell will also take in a, we'll call it profiles, which is an array of DDG profile. And we'll do a Command B because it's going to say this fails, and I want to do this before I forget. And it's back in our location list view. Right now, our initializer for our location cell is not accurate because we're only taking in a location. Well, now we need an array of profiles. So I will hit fix. What array of profiles are we going to send in? Well, first of all, because this will be long, I'm going to put that on 2 lines for our sanity. So I need an array of DDG profiles. Well, I have that on my view model, right? Remember our dictionary, the key is the location ID. The value is the array of profiles at that key. So viewModel.checkedInProfiles. Now, I want to get the value at the key, and now the key is a location ID. Well, I have a location right here, right, that we're basically iterating through our locations. So I can do location.id, right, we have that. And then just like before, we'll do default and then an empty array. So again, what we're saying here in our checked in profiles dictionary, if the key location ID doesn't exist, in the case this wouldn't exist is if like nobody's checked into Chipotle, right? So if nobody's checked into Chipotle, we're not going to have that key in our dictionary because we didn't build that. So that's what this default value does. Just give me an empty array if there is nothing at this key. So back to our location cell. Again, using Chipotle as an example, right? We're going to get the DDG location of Chipotle. And if there are checked in profiles, we're going to get that array of DDG profiles from the dictionary we built. If nobody's checked into Chipotle, this is just going to be an empty array. So speaking of that empty array, right, here's our H stack of avatars. This is just kind of like hard-coded. The previews are killing me. Let me fix the preview real quick. I always forget to fix the previews. So I'm just going to put an empty array in there for now because I don't want to deal with the preview. Now, as I was saying, this H stack of avatar views, right, we just have the dummy data. I'll pull up the preview so you can see what I'm talking about just to refresh the memory, but I am going to get rid of the preview later. I'm not even going to work with it. So here, this is what I'm talking about, right? This H stack. Well, we don't need that anymore. In fact, in this H stack, we're going to have a conditional because like I was saying, that empty array that gets passed in, if nobody's checked in, we want to show a little mini empty state to say that nobody's checked in. So we'll do if profiles, that's our profiles array, dot is empty. If that is the case, we'll create a little empty state here, and that will be a text. And you can make this say whatever you want. I'm going to make it say nobody's checked in. And that is going to be font weight semi-bold. The font is going to be body, which is the default, so I'm not even going to type that out. But that's dot semi-bold. If you wanted a different font, go for it. And we'll do foreground color dot secondary because I do want it to be that kind of like grayed out look. And then you see we need some padding, right? Because it's, you know, shoved up against there. So we'll do padding, but now look at my padding. Ugh, that's not what I want. That looks weird. So I'm just going to do padding dot top, and even that looks to be like a bit much. So I'm going to make this padding.top 2. That makes it look like more of what I wanted. And again, I came up with that too. I dialed it in, trial and error. But you know, that's why I did top 2 as you saw that process. Now I'm realizing I messed that up, right? I'm inside my H stack right now. I don't want that. I want the H stack, right? If I do else, this is where I want the H stack to be, right? Of my avatars. So this whole if else, let's cut it. I'm going to delete this H stack and then paste that, right? So yeah, that's what I want. So how I want it to read is like, if the profiles are empty, I don't even want to deal with this H stack of avatar views, right? I just want to show my text. If there are profiles, now let's show our H stack of avatars. We're going to do this in 2 phases. I'm just going to get the avatars working. And then if I pull up the design, you'll notice we have this like +4, +8, because we can only show, like I can't show 13 avatars, right, horizontally. There's not enough horizontal space. So what we're going to do is we're going to show 4 avatars. And then if there's more than 4, we're going to show that little +3, +5, +99, like whatever it is. But first, we're just going to get the avatars showing up. So we're going to do it in phases. So it's going to be 4 each, and then profiles, and then profile in, right, for each profile. And then now we can do avatar view, and it takes in an image and a size. And the image is going to be profile.create avatar image, size of 35. So again, to recap, if profiles are empty, show that nobody's checked in. If we have profiles, we're going to show all the avatar views, which again, if we have more than 4 right now, it would look all messed up, but I know we only have 1. We'll do the mock users here in a second. Again, I like to test things, test the process to make sure things are working. So this should be working with real data now. When I go to my simulator, I shouldn't see all those, you know, placeholder avatar views, right, of the little profile thing. I should see my actual profile where I'm checked in, probably Chipotle. I never remember where I'm checked in at. And if I'm not checked in somewhere, I should see this nobody's checked in. So if I go to locations, okay, so there's my nobody's checked in. Cool. So I must not be checked in somewhere. Let's double check. Profile. Okay, yeah, I'm not checked in anywhere. I always like to make sure of that. So now let's check into the trusty old Chipotle. Check in here. There we go. There's Sean. Now if we go back, it didn't work. All right, let's try this again. If I go to locations, okay, there we go. It's obviously not the behavior we want. We want to be able to go back and see it. But if we go Chipotle, check out, go back, Now I'm checked out. Go to Chipotle, check in. There I am. Go back. Okay, so there's two things to talk about because when I tested it, it worked fine in my rehearsal. Because the CloudKit database does take a second to update. So what I'm going to do to test this is I'm going to go to my location list view model here, and I am going to print that we got something back to let me know that, hey, it did make the query and then maybe just CloudKit wasn't updated. And we'll talk about solutions for that too. So I'll say, actually, we'll just print checked in profiles because it will, it'll give me the little empty dictionary thing if I don't have anything in there. So run it. All right, so let's test this. Locations. Okay, I am checked into Chipotle. Now let's check out. Give it a second. I'm going to point something out here. Now I'm checked out, and you see the empty dictionary down here. So I'm going to go in, check in. Cool, checked in. Give it a few seconds because like you got to wait a little bit because sometimes the CloudKit database takes a little bit to index. Now I'm checked in. Now what I'm going to show you is check in. Or I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm going to check out and then go back pretty quickly. Okay, that worked. That showed me no thing. Okay, let's check in. See, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Check in. Cool, checked in, go back. That was probably too slow. Nope, it wasn't too slow. You see, it takes the CloudKit a couple seconds to like index the changes, right? So I got this empty array because CloudKit doesn't think I'm checked in yet in the database. Back to the simulator. Now, the way I'm going to fix this, because there's not much we can do, right? If the CloudKit database is taking long to like index everything, that's kind of out of our control on the client side. However, in iOS 15, there's a pull to refresh, right? So I can do that and pull to refresh. So if you're watching this after iOS 15 has been released in mid to late September of 2021, that will be updated in the updates in iOS 15 section in a few videos. If you're watching this before iOS 15 is official, fortunately, you're going to have to wait a couple months to fix that bug. But again, the functionality works. It's just the bug if you do it too quickly. Because I could implement pull to refresh in now, but I got to do UI view representable, dive down into UI kit. It's a little bit of a workaround. I don't think that's worth it. I would rather wait a couple months for the pure Swift UI solution to fix this edge case. And again, we'll be able to pull to refresh. It'll fire off that network call again, and all the avatars will update. And we want pull to refresh on this screen anyway, because not just updating my checked in status, right? Let me check in real quick. I mean, not check in real quick, go back just to get that to update. I got confused. We want to be able to pull to refresh because, all the avatars that are checked into these various locations, if you wait 5 minutes, you say you're just sitting here looking at this screen for a little bit, like those are going to update. People are going to be checking in, checking out the various locations. So a pull to refresh on this screen is a functionality we want anyway, not just as a little fix for that delay. We're going to want that anyway. So that is coming in the iOS 15 update section. Okay, so let's stop this. Now let's work on the additional profiles view is what I'm calling it. That's that little +3, +2 that you see here on the design. So I'm going to do that in the location cell. Get rid of that bottom thing here. And I'm going to get rid of the preview. And we'll scroll down and do it down here. And this will be a struct additional profiles view. That is of type view. This is a good old Swift UI view here. So that means we're going to do var body some view. So we're going to make the magic happen. This is going to take in a number. So var number, which is an int, right? Because we got to know what number to display. So this is a text. We'll do text. It is going to be a plus button, right? Because we want to say like +4, +82, however many are in there. So we'll do string interpolation then on the number. So whatever number we pass in, it's going to be plus that number. And then we're going to actually hard code this font, and I'll tell you why. So we'll do .system size and weight, and it is a 14 and .semi bold. And again, this is just the design I came up with. Now, the reason we're hard coding this, again, pulling up the design, you see it. So the argument why you would do something like body or caption or whatever, maybe, I honestly haven't tested this, maybe something like caption would work, but when you use those, your text is going to expand with dynamic type. So that means if this text gets really, really big, it's going to look all messed up with my UI because it kind of has to be small just the way this works. So I'm choosing to kind of forego dynamic type on this UI element. Now we can talk about the pros and cons of that, right? Of course, in an ideal, perfect world, you want your app to have 100% of the accessibility features, 100% of the dynamic type, and we are going to work on dynamic type. However, getting an app to be 100% perfect dynamic type is a huge undertaking. We'll do the basics, we'll do a lot of the big stuff in our app, but to get it to 100%, that could be a whole course in and of itself, because oftentimes when you handle like things like extra large type, you have to completely redo your layout of the screen to handle that size. So again, that is why I chose to just hard code this to 14. And this is going to be a UI element for our case in our course that doesn't handle the dynamic type. Because you can imagine, right? We have our small little avatar images, and then what do we have? This huge circle that has plus 42. Yeah, you kind of see where I'm going, right? So we'll do a dot frame of 35 and 35. So 35, 35, because that is the same size that we have for our avatars. And it's going to be foreground color dot white, and background is going to be color dot brand primary. It's our green. And then we're going to do clip shape of a circle. Okay, so let's take a look at this additional profiles view. For that, I'll pull out the preview again and put that down to 75. Okay, so to hack the preview real quick, to showcase it, I will comment out our text if it's empty, because our profiles are empty in our preview. And I will do an HStack. We're going to delete all this here in a second, but I can do additional profiles view down here, and you can see that takes in a number. And the number we'll do is, I don't know, I always test 99, because we're going to put a limit on it to like, you know, because it's very hard to have your UI adapt. If this was like plus 10,000, you know, this little circle can't adapt to plus 10,000. I'll zoom in here so you can see that circle, right? Get off that. There you go. So that's what it's looking like. So we will write some logic to limit it. Like if there's more than 99 people here as the bonus, we're just going to cap it at 99, right? That's like our max. So that's what it's going to look like. And then, you know, just for the full testing, we'll do an avatar view here. Again, this is just me playing around with the preview. We're going to delete all this. We'll do placeholder image dot avatar and the size of 35, because that's what it is. So you can see that's what it's going to look like when we have a bunch of them, right? And if I wanted to do copy, we'll do paste. Cool. So that's how it's going to look, which is what we want. Okay, so I'm going to delete this HStack, uncomment the text. And now let's write some logic to show that. Okay, preview, you're too big for me. I don't like you. Get out of here. Okay, we're going to write some logic to where for the first 4 profiles, we're going to show the avatar view with their avatar. On index 4, we're going to show our additional profiles view with the number, and that's all the avatars we're going to show. So if there's 100 profiles in here, we're really only showing 5 elements. So for that, we need to modify our for each a little bit. We're going to use profiles.indices, or as you see, the indices are valid for subscripting the collection in ascending order. So this basically gives us the indexes and profiles rather than the items. So we need an ID parameter, and we're going to do .self there for that. So that means basically the index, because the index is an int, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the ID we're going to use. And then instead of going through the profile, we're going to say index, right? So now we're going to have to access our array of profiles via our index. So what we're going to do here is if index is less than or equal to 3, so the first 4 profiles, this is what we're going to do here. We're going to do avatar view. And then not profile.createImage, we're going to have to do our profiles array. So profiles, it's our array. And then at index, 0, 1, 2, 3, well, we can pass in the index that we have, right, as we're iterating through here. So this is going to take whatever profile at that index, create an avatar image, but only for the first 4. That's why we did less than or equal to 3, right? Because it's 0 index, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's 4 of them. And then now, else if index is equal to 4. Because we don't want to do this for every profile beyond 4. Just the 4th one is that we want to show our additional profiles view. And then now that takes in a number. Where's my autocomplete? There it is. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Xcode. Okay, so now we do profiles.count minus 4. So if I have 100 profiles in there, I'm going to subtract 4. So this is going to say plus 96. So it's going to show the first 4, say plus 96. That's where I get this number. Not profile.count, profiles, plural. That's my array. Do a command B. Hopefully Xcode stops yelling at me. Clean up some spaces. Okay, so that is the logic. I'll walk through that again one more time. So in our HStack, we're going to do the indices of our profiles, not just the objects in the profiles. So we can use the ID of self, which is an int, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the index. So for each index, right, if the index is less than or equal to 3, so that means the first 4, we're going to use an avatar view, and then we're going to take the profile at that index, create an avatar image. Cool. If the index is equal to 4, we're going to create our additional profiles view, do some quick math to get how many profiles are left, and that's what we're going to show. That's what we're going to show, the plus 42, plus 4, whatever it is. And then we're done there. So to test this out, we're going to create some mock users in iCloud to see this in action. So back to Safari, Okay, here I am. Yep, make sure you're in the right container. I'm still here from a couple videos ago. Records, make sure you're in DDG profile, public database, cool. Query records, you should see just yourself, right? Well, here we can add records with this plus button. So we're gonna do a plus, create new record. I'm gonna create like 6 mock users, but they can be quick, right? Because I don't need everything, right? I don't have to put an avatar for this dummy data, right? Our app forces the user to have everything, but when we're up here, in God mode, we don't need all that, right? Because we assign default values for this stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the isCheckedIn variable here all be the same. Where am I checked in at? Let me go back here. Okay, Sean is checked in. I'm gonna click on this. You see, so this tells me I am checked into Chipotle. Okay, so I just want to verify that. So my is checked in, if I click on this, I just need this record name, right? So I'm going to copy that, right? This is the ID that we're using for our reference. So Command C, because now when I create a new record, hit the plus button, create a new record. I don't need a name. I don't need an avatar. Well, I'm going to do a name just to like show that they exist. So we'll say this is mock. Again, and then my is checked in, I can paste in Chipotle's reference, and then the nil check, remember this is important, has to be 1. So I'm gonna hit save. We're gonna do this like 5 more times, except I'll be quicker. So hit plus, create new record, and same thing, is checked in, paste it in there, that's Chipotle, first name, user, nil check, 1, save. Okay, cool. Record, create new record. Sorry, this is repetitive. We're only gonna do a couple more. I just want to be able to get enough so I can see the plus number, right? So first name, mock user dummy. I'm just gonna put like dummy data stuff. Paste in the Chipotle reference. No check is 1. Save. Great. So what is that? 3? Okay, we'll do 2 more. Name. I'll say Jobs. Steve Jobs. Paste in the Chipotle reference. 1 for the nil check. Save. Last one we'll do was. Plus. Create new record. First name was is checked into Chipotle. We're having a Chipotle party. Is nil check is 1. Okay, save. Okay, now I will query records to make sure they're here. Cool. Here's my, right, I got Sean, I got dummy, mock, jobs, user, was. Okay, cool. So back to Xcode. Let's run this, and fingers crossed, will it work the first time? We should see the +2, I believe it'll be. So locations, Chipotle, we did not. What did we mess up? Let's take a look here. What is the dictionary we printed out? Okay, so the dictionary looks like it has dummy, has mock, has jobs. Okay, so the dictionary is being built accordingly. So that's good. So our UI is messed up somewhere that we're not showing that. Let's try that again. I want to see if my location detail screen is working here. So locations, okay, just me. If I click on Chipotle, just me. Okay, so something weird is going on. And I know I messed something up because rehearsal worked fine, as always, right? Okay, so let's stop this and let me do some debugging. Okay, so that took a lot of searching that I edited out, of course. I was pulling my hair out, obviously. So what I messed up was, if I go back to CloudKit here, when I went to Sean and pulled basically I pulled the wrong reference to Chipotle. Like I went and just pulled like the wrong thing. I think I just like pulled this. So I have to go to Sean, my existing one, right? Go to this is checked in reference. That's what I want. So I'm gonna copy that. And even though that's like the same number, I'm not sure what happens. Cause watch, look when I'm on dummy, right? I click on dummy. I go here, it says I have a reference. If I click here, it takes me to Chipotle. Cool. But now, even though it was the same thing I pasted in, if I click here, and if I go to references on, this is dummy, this is mock, right? Go to references, click on the arrow to go more. It says record not found. So some disconnect there. So again, back to make sure you go to Sean or your original user, go to your is checked in here and take that reference ID, close it. Oops, query records again. Okay, so dummy's good. Now mock needs to have this is checked in. And this is weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what's going on. Paste it in because it is the same like string. But now when I click on mock, click on that, and I go down to references and I click on this, it takes me to Chipotle. It doesn't say record not found. So whatever hiccup that was, again, I wish I could explain it to you. I don't know. Something in the way this is tied together here. But now basically make all your checked in. Once you copy it once, you can paste it a bunch. And I'll double check. This is jobs. Jobs is reference. Now, when I click on it, it takes me to Chipotle. It doesn't say record not found. So I must have done a little copy and paste error. Again, Sorry that I can't explain to you exactly what I did, but hopefully I'm explaining the solution. Hopefully like that's good. So again, this is now was the final one. Paste that in there, hit save. Again, it's tricky when you're like trying to like hack the database to do stuff, right? So I'm not gonna like complain that CloudKit's messing up because I am hacking a little bit to give me some dummy users. So, okay, now that I've done all that, let's go back to Xcode and run it and things should be working. Okay, go to locations. There we go. Chipotle, you see Sean, our dummy users, and then +2. So that means there's 6 people total. So let's click into Chipotle. Yep, we see 6. Sean, dummy, mock, was user. We haven't set up the UI to like populate that yet. Right? That's still done. We'll do that in a future video. But okay, so back here, yep, we still see all of our avatars +2. Click on it. I'm going to check out now. And I'm going to wait an extra couple seconds for that bug that we just talked about. Back to grub spots. I am checked out now. Now you see it says +1, and it replaced my avatar with somebody else's avatar. So we see the 4 that are checked in, and then a +1. Go back to Chipotle. Let me check in. Yep, there it is. There's Sean. Go back. And now you see Sean, and we're back to +2. So our additional view is working with our mock users up on CloudKit.